نعم. جيد. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وبعد. Then, inshallah ta'ala, we were going to continue with our class in the book Al-Arabi to Bain Yadayk. And we are in the first book, in the first chapter. We'll share the screen real quick, inshallah ta'ala. Now, Jade. Okay. So now, alhamdulillah, we got into the greeting, التحية والتعارف. التحية يعني السلام عليكم, hi, hola, هكذا. والتعارف من أين أنت, أنت من وين, يعني أنا من أمريكا. من أين أنت, يعني أنا من دنفر. أنا أستاذ. أنا هكذا. جيد. So we went through the very first portion of this and we got into the conversation. Okay. So in this conversation, we can see that there's a couple things going on. You can come off mute now, Aki, if you want to. Jade. So first and foremostly, okay, we see here in the very top of this the word al-hiwar. al-hiwar يعني هذا حوار بيني وبينك. يعني هذا حوار أنا أتكلم وأنت تتكلم. يعني أنا أقول شيء السلام عليكم وأنت تقول وعليكم السلام, ثم أقول ما اسمك وأنت تقول اسمي عمر وأنا. هذا حوار conversation. Okay. الحوار الأول. So this is the first حوار, the first conversation. Okay. الحوار الأول, the first conversation. Okay. Then he says, if you look next to it, they give you clues, right? You see an eye, you see an ear, and you see the cycle repeating, right? Okay. So the eye is unzur. It means look. Okay. Wastamir. And listen. Wastamir. Wa'a'id. And repeat. A'id is repeat. You see that sign is like continue, repeat, like this. Okay. So this is how the book is set up. And once we explain something, we will try to refrain from saying it again in English, right? This will help us to really start to rely on the language earlier on so that we can learn yani, what to do and what to say. So this is between two people, Khalid or Khalid. So for the first time, I'm going to be Khalid and you will be Khalil. Then you will be Khalid and I will be Khalil, inshallah. Okay? Khalid. Assalamu alaikum.
خليل وعليكم السلام.
Khalid. اسمي خالد. ما اسمك؟
خليل. اسمي خليل.
Yes. اسمي خليل. خالد. كيف حالك؟
خليل بخير والحمد لله.
And you have to read the second part under that.
Yeah. أم وكيف حالك أنت
نعم. وكيف حالك أنت؟ نعم. خالد بخير والحمد لله. Jade. Now this time you will be Khalid and I will be Khalil.
خالد السلام عليكم
Khalil. Wa alaykum salam.
خالد اسمي خالد ما اسمك
Khalil. Ismi Khalil.
خالد كيف حالك
Khalil. بخير والحمد لله. وكيف حالك أنت؟
خالد بخير والحمد لله
Jade. Very good. All right. So in this conversation, this is a conversation between Khalid and Khalil. And these are two individuals that obviously do not know each other. So Khalid, he gives the salams. He says, Assalamu alaikum. And Khalil says, Wa alaikum assalam. Okay. This, yani, I don't want to really try to translate this because, yani, this is a dua. And really, there's a lot that can be said about the salams and spreading the salams. So we'll leave it as it is. But in general, they're greeting one another, right? Khalid then says, Ismi Khalid. Now, Ismi Khalid here, you'll notice there's actually two words here. Let's go with this font here. You have the first word, which is, I'm going to write it right above it, the ism, okay? Then you have the second word, which is E, okay? That's actually two words. So this plus that equals ismi, okay? So let me do a little bit of explaining what happens here. There are attached pronouns and detached pronouns in Arabic, okay? So this will be our grammar part we'll cover today in this first part of this lesson, inshallah. This is a very important one, okay? So you have pronouns. Let's just go to the blackboard actually for this portion here. One quick second here. Okay. So we have what are called dama'ir. Let me get my pencil game up here. I'm sorry. Now I'm writing it wrong. Again, we're going to write it wrong. We'll get this right. Inshallah. All right. So we have what are called dama'ir. Okay. Pronouns is how they'd be explained in English. That's the closest, okay? And it may be 100% exactly what it is, and it may not be. I am not I'm not an expert in English. My mother's an English teacher, and I really pay close attention to a lot of these things, but I'm not an expert. So Damair are pronouns. There are two types, okay? Damair has two types. One is muttasil, okay? Muttasil, which means connected. and munfasil, which means detached. Okay? So you have attached and detached, connected, disconnected, whatever. These words are synonymous pretty much, right? The ones that are mutasil, we're going to go over the basic ones in this order. I'm going to change the color. So this is a moldura, so I'm going to highlight it green. Okay? Whenever I highlight something green, it is like a subject. Okay? A subject. Okay? Or it'll be a principle. Okay? Whenever I highlight something blue, it is going to be a very important vocabulary, okay, in general. It will also be either a kalima jadida, like a new word. I will also use blue. Red will be something that is very important to understand, very easily misunderstood, needs some some delving into. Yellow is something that's important, okay, important. So I'm going to use blue ink when I write this because these are new words here as far as the lesson's concerned. The ones that are connected are, and I'm going to use the word bait that I'm going to connect it to, right? So bait will be what I'm going to connect it to. Okay, bait means house. Okay, or we'll use kitab. Let's use kitab. No, bait is shorter. We'll use bait. All right. So first, we're going to do the exercise in a certain order. We're going to do third person, okay? Third person singular, pointing away from us, singular, like if I said he, okay? Then we will do third person plural, which will be more than three, right? Three or more, right? Pointing that way, meaning them. Then it'll be second person singular, like you, and second person plural, like you all, more, three or more, okay, because there's a dual in Arabic. We're not going to do that right now, though. Then there will be first person singular, first person plural, right? Jay. So these words are, if I say bait tuhu, baytuhu, okay, this means his house. I'm not going to keep writing house over again because you now know what bait means, okay? And the plural, the actual pronoun is this, okay? The ha, okay? It may actually help for me to write this in two different colors. I'll do that. I'll write this in two colors, inshallah. So we will have bait. And then we will have the attached pronoun who, his house. Okay. Then we will have bait to whom. Okay. And again, two different colors. This will be easier. Baytuhum, their house. Then, so that is going to be Baytuhu and Baytuhum. Okay. Then we will have Baytu. Let me just keep doing this right now. I'm just going to do this because it'll be easier for me. You don't have to follow my writing this in this order right now. I'm gonna attach everything as we go, but I'm just gonna write them all out. That way I don't have to keep switching pens. And one more. Okay. Now I'll put in the pronouns here. Baytu ka. Baytu ka is your house. Being a perfectionist. G. Baytukum. Kum is you all's house. Y'all's house. Y'all's house. Right? Yeah. Y'all. Y'all's house. Bayti is my house. And Baytuna is our house. Okay, real quick note, when you write Bayti, you notice that everything was Baytuhu, Baytuhum, Baytuka, Baytukum, and you even have Baytuna. All of a sudden you have Bayti. Okay? This shows you something about the Arabic language that's very important that will help guide you and shows just the intelligence of the language. Okay? Why does this one have a kesra and not a dhamma? You want to take a guess?
It is because it's mine.
Yeah, it is because it's yours. It has to be the yeah is there because of that. But you'll see here, think I made a mistake writing this right here. Yeah, I did. Boom. This one here is going to have a kesra instead of a dhamma, right? So this kesra right here is here for a reason. And the reason why there's a kesra and not a dhamma is try to say Baytui. Baytui. It's difficult. Baytui. They have to do the Baytui, right? Anafi Baytui. So it's difficult on the tongue to do it. So the Arabs said, khalas. When you're gonna have that yeah right there, instead of having the dhamma, we're going to make it a kasra. Bayti. So it becomes very easy then. So there's a principle in the Arabic language, in Fusha especially, that if it's difficult for the Arab to say, they won't say it. They'll change it, right? Even Pepsi. You want to drink Pepsi. It don't matter how many times you say Aki, Pep-C, and they can go pat, say pow, pow. They'll say pow. Say, okay, say Pepsi. They'll say Pepsi. Say, no, Aki. You said pow. Say up. They'll say up. Okay. Say Pepsi. They'll say Pepsi. So it's easier for you to say it. That's how you'll say it in the Arabic language, right? So that's why you have that there. Okay. You have a kesra on that because it's easier for you to say it. In the Arabs and in Fusha, they chose to go the easy way. They didn't want to go difficult. Okay. Now the munfasil are detached. So they're very easy because I can just write them out and I don't have to do a lot of writing back and forth and connecting it to things. The munfasil are simple. They are in the same order. Okay. So it's going to be in the order that we will always go with these is going to be like this. He, they, you, y'all, I, we, or my. Okay? We will always go in that order. That will make things a lot easier if we just keep going in that same order, that same way. Okay? On the munfasil side of it now, when we have it detached, it is huwa. Hum. Anta. Antum. Anna. And nahnu. Okay? So let's do exercise real quick for this. Okay? Right now, we're going to use our fingers and we're going to memorize this in this way. All right? So after you finish writing, let me know and then we can start. Are you done writing?
No,
Okay. Yeah. Take your time. Okay. So the way we'll do this is like this. Remember, third person singular, third person plural, second person singular, second person plural, first person singular, first person plural. Okay. So point with me, one finger, huwa. Say huwa. This way, away from you. Point out this way, other way. Point with your right toward you. There you go. Huwa. He. Hum. They. Huwa, he. Hum, they. Anta, you.
Anta, you.
Antum, you all.
Antum, you all.
Ana, I.
Ana, I.
Nahnu, we.
Nahnu, we.
Huwa, hum.
Huwa, hum.
Anta, antum.
Anta, antum.
Ana, nahnu.
Ana, nahnu.
Huwa, hum. Anta, antum. Ana, nahnu.
Huwa, hum. Anta,
Anta,
anta, antum.
anta, antum.
Anta,
Anta,
antum.
antum. Ana,
Ana,
nahnu.
nahnu.
He, they.
Okay.
You all.
You, you all.
Ana, I, we.
I, we.
Huwa, hum.
Huwa, hum.
Anta, antum.
Anta, antum.
Ana, nahnu.
Ana, nahnu.
Huwa, hum.
Huwa, hum.
Anta, antum.
Anta, antum.
Ana, nahnu.
Ana, nahnu.
Huwa, hum.
Huwa, hum.
Anta, antum.
Anta, antum.
Ana, nahnu.
Ana, nahnu.
Good. Huwa, hum. Anta, antum. Ana, nahnu.
Huwa, hum. Anta, antum. Ana, nahnu.
Very good. Very good. So, the basis, usually we start with the munfasil, the detached pronouns. The conversation has a attached pronouns, and it has more than just the one that I showed you, right? We're going to go through it through the whole conversation, and we'll point to all of them that you can see how many of these detached pronouns are actually there, okay? So let's go back to the conversation. Are you ready for me to go back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's start the conversation from the beginning and look again, because we'll notice that there's actually other attached pronouns here, okay? For example, in Assalamu alaikum, okay, this is a attached pronoun. Wa alaykum assalam. Ismi Khalid. Now look, ismi, they didn't put, there should be, if you're going to write all of the tashkil, if you're going to write down all of the harakat,
Yeah.
then what you would put here is you'd put a kesra right there. Okay? They didn't write it because that's what's going to be after that. Okay? You're going to, that just goes to show you how much, yani this was written by Arabs. Okay? So this is just to show you how much that rule applies, right? You see a yeah coming at the end of something like that, it's almost always going to be an E sound. It could be an A sound. We'll get into that some other time, but it could be something different in certain circumstances. Here is ismi Khalid. Then we have mesmuka. 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 Okay? All right. In this conversation, mesmuka, right? You saw that I said mesmuka. I didn't say my ismuka. Because on this letter, there is no hamza qata. This is not there, okay? That's not there. Because that's not there, you're just going to skip right on over that here in this sentence, okay? If it was by itself, if I just wanted to say what is the word, right? If I just wanted to say what is this word, if I said read this word, right? You'd read ism, ismun. But When there's something before it, you're going to skip over that first part. Okay? So that's for reading, you're going to skip right on over that. All right? So we have mesmuka. The word ma. This word ma, maybe I'll put this with a different color. I'm not going to teach it as a whole principle today. We already got our principle for grammar and speech, which is the different types of dama'ir. Okay.
Okay.
So here, this ma in this sentence, this harf, this means a question. Precedes a question. Means what here? Okay. Right. So it is a question. Right. So you want to know uh, what is the name of the person? You say mesmuka, right? You don't just say ismuka, ismuka. You could say ismuka, but it's like your name, your name. You know, like it's sort of like even if you said it in English, right? It'd be like
Okay.
sort of rude a little bit. So ma means what? Ismuka is your name. You have the ka, remember? That's a detached pronoun. I mean, I'm sorry, an attached pronoun. So then he answers, Ismi Khalil. Okay. Then he asks another question, Kaifa Haluka. Okay? Haluka. There's another one there. There's another attached pronoun. Kaifa means how, right? This is a question. Okay? Kaifa. Right? Kaifa by itself could be used as a sentence. You could just say Kaifa, right? Like if somebody, oh, if my son comes screaming to me, oh, I broke my leg, may Allah protect him. I'd say, Kaifa, right? How? How? Right? So kaifa here, if that is at the beginning of a sentence also, it's now a question. Okay? That's why I highlighted it that way. Then he says, Bikhairin walhamdulillah. Okay? And bikhair means good, right? Uh, is there any words on here that you don't understand the vocabulary itself?
No, I got
Okay,
it.
very good. Alhamdulillah. And lastly, we'll see that there is a detached pronoun. The detached pronoun is at the end. So he says, Khalil then says, Bukhairin walhamdulillah, wa kayfa hawluka, that's attached. But then he says, anta, right? Kayfa hawluka anta is like, if I'm like, how are you doing, right? It's that extra emphasis of how are you, you know what I mean? Instead of me just saying, how are you doing? Like if, I'm doing good, how are you, right? If I say, and how are you doing, right? It gives that extra bit of politeness to it. And he says, بخير, yani, in good, that I'm good. Walhamdulillah. Okay. Jade. Uh, just a side note from some things from the cultural aspect. This red thing is called a shamag. Okay. A shamag. And it's red, but it can also be other colors. But with that kind of pattern, that's called shamag. This white thing is called a gutra. A gutra. And this black thing is called an igal.
I
Igal.
knew that one. Igal, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, they're wearing thobes, and one is wearing a mitraf, a jacket. Okay. All right. So the thing about the igal is that a lot of people don't know this. They see that the igal is black now, right? It's traditionally now customarily black, except for in certain ceremonies, they'll wear a white one. Okay. And the history behind that is that they used to wear white until Beitul Maqdis got taken. When we lost Quds, when we lost Beitul Maqdis, then they started to wear more of the black igal. They dyed it black, And that's something that anybody can look up the history of, because I know that this is going to be watched by others who may have other questions about that. But there's a lot of history about the Muslims that you don't know or understand, that Orientalists and other people have come into the religion and tried to create separation between us by making hate happen between us over historical things without understanding the real way that this situation actually went down, right? Like, what was the response of the Muslim Ummah, not of a country? What was the response of the Ummah when we lost this? What was the response of the Ummah when we were afflicted this way? What is the response of the Ummah when somebody dared to try to do something this way? What was the response of this nation of good people? Yani, then these people, when this situation happened to them in history, how did they respond as Muslims? And how did these people respond as Muslims? And you'll find that, in the Muslim countries, in the Muslim lands, there's so much rich heritage, right? And that's just one of the benefits about the Igal. A lot of people don't really wear that here in the United States. Obviously, as you see, it could be worn. I have one, and sometimes I would wear it, but it's just not as customary to wear it. I do wear it a lot when I go overseas, and that's because it's more customary in the places where I travel to with that. Or like if I'm in Egypt, I don't wear that, and I usually don't even wear shamal. I will wear maybe gutra, or I wear just a kufi with a thobe. You know what I mean? And even the style of the thobe, I may wear more like of the people in the land. And there's no harm in you wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing a t-shirt here today, and pants and things like this, and the customary clothes of the people in the land. Uh, Yani, this is not from resembling, or this is not from imitation. This is just a matter of resemblance from just regular things that already occurred inside the Ummah. So, inshallah ta'ala, we have finished this portion right here. Okay. And what I would like for us to do here in this next, uh, how long have we been in class now? Do you know? Let me see here. Okay, I don't think we've been in for too long now. It's 6:38. Uh, let's. You don't have any questions here, right?
No, not about the conversation.
Okay. Let's move on to the next conversation here. This is very, very, very similar, but it's a little bit different because this is between two sisters. Okay, as we're gonna see here. Okay, between Khawla and Khadija, right? Khawla and Khadija. So I will be Khawla and you will be Khadija in the conversation. Uh, Khawla, Assalamu alaikum.
خديجة وعليكم السلام.
Khawla, Ismi Khawla, Masmuki.
خديجة اسمي خديجة.
Khawla, Kaifa Haluki.
خديجة في خير والحمد لله.
بخير والحمد لله.
خير والحمد لله. وكيف حالك أنت؟
And anti, very good, very good. Khawla, بخير والحمد لله. So we noticed already that there's something different here, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to read it again. You be Khawla this time, and I will be Khadija.
Okay. أولى السلام عليكم.
Khadija, wa alaykum assalam.
أولى اسمي أولى مسموك.
Khadija, ismi Khadija.
أولى كيف حالك؟
Khadija, بخير والحمد لله. وكيف حالك أنت؟
لا بخير والحمد لله.
Very good. So we see here that the pronouns are a little bit different in the second person. They will be different in the third person as well for feminine, but we're not going to go over too much of that today. Right now, we'll just go over the ones that are here and already stated. So we have ismi, which is the same, but then she says mesmuki. Mesmuki is anti, and she puts anti here at the end, right? Mesmuki, it means you to a female, okay? Mesmuki, it is the attached pronoun that means anti, which means you in the feminine. Then she says ismi Khadija. Then Khawla says kaifa haluki, again, ki. Khadija says bikhairin walhamdulillah wa kaifa haluki anti. There's the proof. Anti. Then Khawla says bikhairin walhamdulillah. Okay? It all means the same. Anta and ka is for you, masculine. Anti and ki is for you, feminine. Okay? It's just that simple. Jade. Let's go on to these exercises here. Now, the first one is for you to look, listen, and repeat. Okay? Jade. So now looking at these all together, we have some just individual statements, okay? So the first one, the two guys are talking to each other, right? And he says, Kaifa haluka, right? Kaifa haluka. And then the two girls are there, and they say, Kaifa haluki. All right, so let's repeat. Kaifa haluka. Kaifa haluki. Then we see here, now they're pointing at each other, okay? And so we have anti and anta. Yes, you and you. Then we have mesmuka. This is what is your name, brother. Then a sister would say to another sister, or you would say to a sister, mesmuki. What is your name? Jade. تدريب الأول سل بين العبارة وصورة المناسبة. Okay? So they want you to connect between the expression and the correct, appropriate picture, inshallah. Okay? So the first one is we have masmuka. Is it going to be, which one do you think it's going to be? Is masmuka,
Masculine?
was that?
Masculine? Masmuka? Masculine?
Was that?
Is it masculine?
Yes, it's masculine. Masculine. So which one is going to be that you're going to connect masmuka to which one?
The one with the two males and he's aiming at one of them?
Here?
No. The one next to it.
This one? This is for a different exercise.
Yes.
That's for the next question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then this one, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So let's connect here. This is correct. Ahsant. Then we have masmuki. Yes.
So the two women on top.
There we go. Okay. Anti. Which one is anti from those two in the middle?
So it would be the women, the two women at the bottom.
Very good. And anta.
And it would be the two males at the top.
Very good. Kaifa haluka.
Luca, that's the two males at the bottom.
Kaifa haluki.
So is the two women at the top.
Now, one quick second, inshallah.
Yeah.
Jade. Okay. Tadrib الثاني. Now here is for you to answer, okay, like respond. I would like for you to write this down for homework, inshallah. Tadrib الثاني, okay? So it says Assalamu alaikum, then I want you to respond. Okay? When it says yani anything pertaining to your name, I want you to put in your name. Okay? And anything that is to like feminine, you can write any feminine name. Even have fun. Like yani, there's some non-Arab names. You can say, how would I say, like my mom's name is Sharon, right? Sharon. So Sharon, how would you write Sharon? You know what I mean? Uh, and you can do in that way. Anything that's in blue is going to be masculine, and anything that's in yellow is going to be feminine. Okay, that's a nice little part there with that. And then, inshallah, we will begin with the next conversation in our next class. Is that okay?
Yeah, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I think I got it, Sheikh. This is
Alhamdulillah.
a good listen, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. So yes, this is my first time teaching. Right now it's on Facebook Live, and this is the screen being shared. So I hope that it saved everything there too as well. And inshallah ta'ala, we will meet again next Saturday, and we will continue on to the second conversation at Dars Thani. Okay, so you see at the top here, it's got a Dars Thani. Okay, that two right there that's the number two, right? Did you know that uh, show me which one is Arabic? Huh? On the bottom?
Yes.
A lot of people think so. The Arabs use it now, but it's not Arabic. This is Arabic.
Oh, subhanallah.
Yeah, this is Arabic. But I think that these other numbers were adopted by Indian numerals for some way, ended up being assimilated into the Arabs. But the original Arabic numbers are the numbers that we use to this day, and we call them English numbers, but they're not English numbers. They're Arabic numbers. Alhamdulillah. So it's a nice little benefit. But now, inshallah ta'ala, I will continue on with this. We'll continue next week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاك الله خير السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته